The year is 2025. The world has changed dramatically in just a few short years. The global trade landscape is in turmoil, with nations scrambling to protect their interests. The world is witnessing a new era of trade wars, more intense and widespread than ever before. These are not the trade skirmishes of the past, which were often resolved through diplomacy. This time the stakes are higher, involving not just economic power but also national security. The players are more determined, driven by a mix of ambition and fear. The weapons are more potent, ranging from tariffs to advanced cyber warfare. At the heart of this new trade war is the escalating rivalry between the United States and China, two superpowers vying for global dominance. The U.S., once the champion of free trade, has turned inward, adopting protectionist policies. It has imposed tariffs on Chinese goods, aiming to curb China's economic rise. China has retaliated with its own tariffs, refusing to back down. The trade war has escalated rapidly, with no end in sight. It threatens to disrupt global supply chains and upend the global economy, causing widespread uncertainty. This is not just an economic conflict, it is a geopolitical struggle for dominance and influence. It is a geopolitical struggle for dominance, with far-reaching consequences. The U.S. sees China as a threat to its economic and technological supremacy, fearing it will lose its edge. China, for its part, is determined to become a global power, investing heavily in innovation and infrastructure. It is no longer willing to play by the rules set by the U.S., seeking to establish its own order. This trade war has far-reaching implications, affecting every corner of the globe. It will reshape global trade patterns, forcing countries to rethink their alliances and strategies. It will accelerate the decoupling of the U.S. and Chinese economies, leading to a more fragmented world. It will force countries around the world to choose sides, creating new alliances and rivalries. China is not a passive player in this trade war. It has a long history of strategic thinking and economic planning. It is prepared to fight back with a variety of tactics and strategies. China has a number of economic weapons at its disposal, each carefully honed over years of development. It can use these weapons to retaliate against the U.S. and protect its interests, ensuring its economic stability. One of China's most potent weapons is its vast domestic market, which is a significant driver of its economic power. With a population of over 1.4 billion people, China is the world's second-largest economy, and its consumer base is immense. It is a major market for goods and services from around the world, attracting international businesses and investments. China can use its market power to punish countries that side with the U.S. in the trade war, leveraging its economic influence. China is also a major creditor to the U.S., holding a significant portion of U.S. debt. It holds trillions of dollars of U.S. Treasury bonds, which gives it substantial leverage. China could sell off some of these bonds, creating financial instability. This would drive up interest rates in the U.S., affecting loans and mortgages. It would make it more expensive for the U.S. government to borrow money, increasing the financial burden. Moreover, China is a major producer of rare earth minerals, which are crucial for modern technology. These minerals are essential for the production of a wide range of high-tech products, from smartphones to electric vehicles. China could restrict exports of rare earth minerals, creating a significant impact on global supply chains. This would disrupt supply chains for companies around the world, causing delays and increased costs. Taiwan is a small island nation. It is located off the coast of mainland China. Taiwan has a unique and precarious position in the global economy. It is a major producer of semiconductors. These are essential components in smartphones, computers, and other electronic devices. Taiwan is heavily dependent on trade with both the U.S. and China. The U.S. is Taiwan's second-largest trading partner. China is its largest. This makes Taiwan particularly vulnerable to the escalating trade war between the two superpowers. The trade war has already had a negative impact on Taiwan's economy. Taiwanese businesses are facing uncertainty. They are unsure about the future of trade relations between the U.S. and China. This uncertainty is leading to delays in investment and hiring. Taiwan is also facing pressure from both the U.S. and China to take sides in the trade war. The U.S. is urging Taiwan to reduce its economic dependence on China. China is pressuring Taiwan to distance itself from the U.S. The U.S. economy is not immune to the effects of the trade war. The tariffs imposed on Chinese goods are already being felt by American businesses and consumers. Tariffs are taxes on imported goods. These are passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. American companies that rely on imported components from China are also facing higher costs. This is squeezing their profits. Some companies have been forced to raise prices. Others have had to cut jobs. The trade war is also disrupting supply chains. American companies are finding it difficult to source components and finished goods from China. This is leading to delays and shortages. The Trump administration argues that the tariffs are necessary. They say it is to protect American jobs and intellectual property. However, many economists argue that the tariffs are counterproductive. They say the tariffs will harm the U.S. economy more than they will help it. Section 5. The European Union's Dilemma. The European Union is caught in the middle of the U.S. China trade war. The EU is a major trading partner of both the U.S. and China. It is facing pressure from both sides. The U.S. wants the EU to take a tougher stance against China. China wants the EU to remain neutral. The EU is divided on how to respond to the trade war. Some member states, such as Germany, have close economic ties with China. They are reluctant to jeopardize those ties. Other member states, such as France, are more hawkish on China. They are calling for a more assertive EU policy. The EU is trying to chart a middle course. It is seeking to defend its interests in the trade war. It is also trying to preserve its relationship with both the US and China. However, this is becoming increasingly difficult. The trade war is forcing the EU to make difficult choices. Section 6. The Asian Response to Tariff Wars. The US-China trade war is having a significant impact on Asia. The region is home to many of the world's largest economies. It is also a major hub for global trade and investment. The trade war is creating uncertainty and volatility in Asian markets. It is disrupting supply chains and dampening business confidence. The trade war is also leading to a shift in trade patterns. Asian countries are looking for alternative markets for their goods and services. Some Asian countries are benefiting from the trade war. For example, Vietnam has seen an increase in exports to the US. This is because American companies are looking for alternative suppliers to China. However, the overall impact of the trade war on Asia is negative. The trade war is slowing down economic growth in the region. It is also increasing tensions between countries. Section 7. The Military Dimension of Trade Wars. The US-China trade war has a military dimension. The two countries are engaged in a military buildup in the Asia-Pacific region. This is raising tensions and increasing the risk of conflict. The US is concerned about China's growing military power. It is also concerned about China's assertive behavior in the South China Sea. The US is responding by increasing its military presence in the region. It is also strengthening its alliances with countries like Japan, South Korea, and Australia. China is also increasing its military spending and capabilities. It is developing new weapons systems, such as hypersonic missiles and aircraft carriers. China is also expanding its military presence in the South China Sea. It is building artificial islands and militarizing them. The trade war is exacerbating the military rivalry between the US and China. The trade war is making it more difficult for the two countries to cooperate on issues of mutual interest. It is also increasing the risk of miscalculation and escalation. Section 8. A New World Order in Trade. The US-China trade war is a symptom of a larger shift in the global order. The US is no longer the sole superpower. China is rising. It is challenging the US for economic and technological dominance. The trade war is accelerating the decoupling of the US and Chinese economies. The two countries are reducing their dependence on each other. They are developing their own supply chains and technological ecosystems. The trade war is also leading to the formation of new trading blocs. The US is negotiating trade deals with countries that share its values. China is doing the same. The world is moving towards a multipolar trading system. The new world order in trade will be more complex and fragmented. There will be more competition and less cooperation. This will create challenges for businesses and governments around the world. Section 9. Conclusion. Navigating the uncertain future. The US-China trade war is a defining moment in global history, marking a significant shift in international relations. It is a clash of titans, a battle for economic supremacy that will shape the future. It is a struggle for the future of the global economy, with far-reaching consequences. The trade war is already having a profound impact on the world, affecting various sectors. It is disrupting supply chains. causing delays and shortages in production. It is increasing prices for consumers, making everyday goods more expensive. It is slowing down economic growth, leading to uncertainty and instability. It is also increasing tensions between countries, heightening the risk of conflict. The trade war is likely to continue for the foreseeable future, with no end in sight. There is no easy solution, no quick fix to this complex issue. The U.S. and China are both dug in, unwilling to compromise on their core interests. They are both determined to protect their interests, no matter the cost. The trade war is creating a more uncertain and dangerous world, fraught with risks. It is a world where the rules are changing and the old ways no longer apply. It is a world where the old certainties are gone, replaced by new challenges. In this new world, countries and businesses will need to be more adaptable and resilient, ready to face unexpected changes. They will need to diversify their supply chains, ensuring they are not overly reliant on any single source. They will need to find new markets for their goods and services, expanding their reach globally. They will also need to be prepared to navigate a more complex and challenging geopolitical landscape, where alliances and rivalries